Beginning the broadcast with breaking news from the state of Tamil Nadu. Even when E. Palanisamy and O. Pannirselvam were battling for the Chief Minister's throne, the city of Chennai faced two heart-wrenching incidents. Now, a 7-year-old girl went missing from her home on 5th of February and was found later dumped at a roadside near Ankaputtur. Her neighbor was found guilty of sexually assaulting her, gagging her to death. Even then, Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam took a break from his political fight to console the toddler's death and announced a solarium. But even before this inhuman act could fade away from the citizens' minds, the death of a 3-year-old Ritika has left the state shell-shocked. Meanwhile, another incident, 3-year-old was last seen playing next to her home yesterday evening at Ennore. The girl was found today morning at a dump yard with a piece of cloth around her mouth. Her parents had filed a complaint yesterday night with the cops, and the investigation began by questioning 10 men. Police also arrested a neighbor and found deceased belongings with her. Joining us live is Akshaya Nath on the story from Chennai. Akshaya, first of all, if you could take us through the investigation details as to where does it stand at the moment in all these cases.
Well, Smita, a lot of shocking incidents happening in the city which have been overshadowed by the political ball game that is happening. So in the case of Hasini, the entire incident came to the forefront only because actor Kamal Haasan started tweeting it, and then we had seen O. Pannirselvam had announced a compensation for the kind of incident that has happened and even condemned such incidents. And now it is seen that with Edappadi Palanisamy being the Chief Minister of the state, we have been reported that a 3-year-old child was taken away and raped, and even the entire incident has been completely shocking. The investigation is going on. They found the girl's belonging with the neighbor, the jewelry of the girl with the neighbor, and the investigating officials are going through all these details. But what is shocking is the crime rate that has been increasing in the city, Smita. Even children are not left out. There have been widespread anger among activists as well as family members. The parents of the child had earlier registered a complaint yesterday when she went missing while playing with her brother, and now while the child's body has been found, the entire city is in complete shock, and the investigating officers have informed us that more details will be brought in and the culprits will be taken into custody very soon, Smita.
But Akshay, in terms of, you said, of course, so there's much anger, and but so, do stay with us because I'm joined by Nagashila, women rights activist, on the phone. Ma'am, how do you look at these incidents that are coming to the fore in a state that has been just so preoccupied with the kind of political tussle that we've seen?
See, as far as I think the people of Tamil Nadu are concerned, this situation has not occurred just now. Ever since the former Chief Minister Jayalalitha has been hospitalized, administration in the state has come to a standstill on every front. And in the priority, crime against children, especially girl children, seems to be of least importance to anybody in the administration, and least of all the police. I think today's reality of seeing this large force of police around providing security to Raj Bhavan, to the resort in which the MLAs were placed, around the secretariat, everywhere else but where people are, I think only makes this reality more stark and obvious to the common person.
That's a very pertinent point that you raised, that the amount of police deployment that has happened over the past few weeks in VIP areas or VIP protection, that perhaps is one of the factors in here. But Chennai as a city is not really known for such gory crimes. Is there something changing about the nature of the city itself here?
See, I wouldn't, of course, on the strength of two incidents, make such broad sweeping statements. But yes, definitely, crime against women has been on the increase. If you would have also noticed earlier, the killing of employees, the software employees, in broad daylight. So I think since the administration is really sleeping and there's nobody at the helm of the political affairs to take a call on issues, obviously criminals get emboldened. And the one which suffers the most are the ordinary citizens.
Okay, to stay on with us, Akshaya, is this a question that you've been able to pose to the city police forces? The point that Nagashila is raising, that when there's so much of VIP police deployment happening, are the forces kind of stretched out here? What is happening really in terms of investigation or keeping a tab on the places around?
Well, Smita, it is always seen that the factor regarding the women's safety in the city has been a point of questioning right from the time of Swati murder case. We've been seeing a regular number of crimes against women, and these have been regularly raised to the city police also. What we've been ensured by them is that they're taking the necessary action to ensure such kind of incidents don't happen, but they continuously repeat. And over the last couple of weeks, right from December 4th to be precise, the political action that has been happening here, the political uncertainty that is happening here has brought a huge impact on the law and order situation in the state. We had seen
Akshay, I'm sorry to intervene. I request you to be with us. I'm joined here by A. Saravanan of the DMK. Mr. Saravanan, two pictures that tell volumes on a television screens right now. On the one hand, of course, these toddlers who went missing, bodies found dumped. On the other hand, MLAs, including, your own parties, in that absolutely ugly ruckus inside the assembly. What is the message that the state is sending out, really?
See, it's always been a sorry state of affairs. This has been the situation for the last, couple of years. There is total, loss in governance, and especially the women are targeted. That is very, very sad, and nobody can comprehend what has happened to these two young children. They have been brutalized and done to death. It's sickening, but the police, I don't know, they should realize their, true job instead of,
So, but how will they realize their true job if they are continuously deployed in VIP services? If the forces are absolutely involved in making sure that there is no horse trading happening, MLAs don't escape a resort, things like that, they're outside governor's house, they're outside assembly. How will they do their job?
See, that's what we keep saying, that this government lacks legitimacy because they don't have the decision or the direction how to go ahead when there is no policing and everything is everywhere. They are there in the resorts and giving protection to them for preventing horse trading. Innocent lives are being lost here. We are happy that you have raised this issue. At least now let the police force realize what is their true job and let them go and protect the people instead of protecting this horse trading and giving protection to MLAs who are being held captive.
Do stay with us. Nagashila, if the women rights activist is still with us, ma'am, can you hear us? Do you agree with Mr. Sarvanan's evaluation that women's protection and safety has been an issue over the past many years in the state now?
See, I would say that women's issue has, not been a priority no matter what the regime is. As far as the citizens are concerned, I think whichever the political party, it has been an uphill task for an ordinary citizen to ever get a crime registered, an FIR lodged, a proper investigation and a logical prosecution leading to a conviction. It's always been an uphill task as far as the ordinary citizen is concerned. So I wouldn't, put any time frame with regard to any particular political party.
Okay, but let me get in a word here from Apsara Reddy of the AIADMK who's joining us. Apsara, these images, they are absolutely embarrassing images. The political spar is unending in the state, even as there are serious incidents of these toddlers whose bodies have been found dumped. They have come to light. How do you look at it?
100%. I think child protection is a very important policy of our government, and we've always acted firmly and decisively. And I think if you look at the past track record of Jayalalitha Madam's government consecutively, we've come down very, very with an iron fist on anybody perpetrating crime against children. I did hear your previous speaker speak about political, but I don't want to make this a political debate. There's a life that has been lost. There's a child's bright future that has been stubbed out by an animal within her own colony. We will take the necessary action and we will bring to light more such incidents, and of course justice will be done. There's no two ways about it.
Okay, at least that's healthy to hear. Sarvanan, do you agree with that this is not the time to do politics and point fingers, that this is the regime during which the crime rates went up, but it's actually time for all political parties to think what is the message they're sending out to larger civil society, either side of the spectrum?
Yeah, we don't speak, we act. We have never politicized all these issues. See, whenever, whatever we can do, we have always done that. The sad fact is that, even though you say don't politicize it, the priorities of this government seems to be, different. It is not about protection of, the life in the civil establishment. There are something else. Even though these two crimes may be different, however, effective policing could not have prevented these crimes because these are animals who are known to be, victims, and they have done that. But you cannot, conceal the fact that the law and order situation in the last few years have been deteriorated. These two crimes definitely, have to be condemned in the most strongest terms possible. And we have to agree that, whatever effective policing could not have prevented these crimes. These are, social crimes, and, only change of heart and, educating people about the importance of women can only wipe off these crimes.
Apsara Reddy, your response, do you think, regardless of your political differences, the parties can come together and work towards making the place, safer? If young children and toddlers can't be safe, what is the use of having a government and an administration?
I think that is the beauty of governance and an opposition party. They must see eye to eye on issues that concern the state. We've been a very, very dynamic government. I think law and order, DMK cannot question us on law and order, because social media and the newspaper headlines have always praised us in the recent past for crisis management and natural disaster management and law and order. Our police force is acting very decisively and dynamically. I don't think we need to politicize this debate, as I said again, and I don't think DMK can even say that this government doesn't take care of its citizens in terms of law and order, because bus burning incidents or rail rocos or inconveniencing public only happens because the DMK acts responsibly, and we've seen that even in the recent past in the assembly, the kind of violence that they can get up to. So let's not talk about that. Let's put Hasini back in focus. Let's put the other girl back in focus. Justice will be done.
Justice will be done. And Saravanan, you will also put aside your political differences and try and raise, awareness among society to make sure the children are safer.
Yeah, we have always done that. We wanted to cooperate with this government. We were friendly with this government, and they accused us of smiling with them and conspiring against them. See, this is what, when we want to take an initiative, one step further, we are pushed, 5 steps behind. That has been, you say that don't politicize this issue, but, you can't bring up all these, without bringing up all these issues, you can't have, any dialogue.
Okay, and Akshay, let me just get in a word from my colleague Akshay, who's been tracking these cases. Akshay, in these cases, what has it turned out to be? The accused or the suspected, do they seem to be somebody that these kids know at the moment, or police is still shooting in the dark?
Well, Smita, in both the cases, the accused are people who are either the neighbors of the kids or people who know the kids well. So in the first incident that happened in the first week of February, it is seen that a 7-year-old child was abducted by a neighbor. And in this incident of the 3-year-old that happened yesterday, it is again seen that the jewelry of the child was found in the hands of a neighbor. So the people who are closer to the children, who have seen the child growing up, are the ones who are actually doing all these crimes. And there's no fear factor that is there with these culprits also. Most of them feel that they can walk out scot-free, and that is the entire mentality that we're seeing in the last couple of incidents that have been happening in the city. Right from the Swati murder case that happened in June last year till now, the number of incidents that have happened against women, it's continuous, and in most of the cases the perpetrators are people who are known to the child or the woman, and that is the most shocking incident. And now the law and order situation, Smita, it has to be brought up. There is a little bit of slowness. We're seeing that a lot of people are moving to the VVIP camps, and unfortunately they have been hoarded there. And now with things settling down, the hope is high that these kind of incidences will stop, at least now.
But Nagashila, if the law fails to act as a deterrent, if police is not preemptive enough in its action, what is it that the civil society groups can do? Nagashila, are you there with us on the phone line?
Hello, yes, hello.
I just wanted to ask you that in such cases where law and order does not seem to be working, or police forces are not effective enough in preempting such incidents, or the law does not act as a deterrent by itself, what is it that civil society can do really to ensure that these acts, these horrendous crimes do not happen?
The entire country would have noticed the lakhs of young students and youth gathering on the Marina Beach on the Jallikattu issue. And I think what this gathering really demonstrates is not just an issue of Jallikattu, but a general disillusionment on about every political party and the state of governance in the state. So there is, people are tired about this entire politicking between every political party, no matter who is the ruling party. And somewhere I think people's interests have never been central to governance in respect of I think any government.
I'm
in the
sorry to
state.
interfere, but why then we don't
yes.
see civil society groups take to the streets? Perhaps, if you can come out for a bull taming sport, for cultural identity, should civil society groups, should ordinary people be more vocal and take to the streets?
That is where I think the media had really missed out the debate. While the rallying point might have been on the bull training and bull fight, but I think the issues and the debates that went on during the gathering was every issue from farmer suicides to the state of law and order, crime against women. The entire governance in the state has been a point of discussion, and this was really a symbolic event where the bullfight was a symbol around which people gathered. But it was never limited to that, and the large gathering of lakhs and lakhs of people is really an expression of disillusionment about the state of affairs. And I think unless political parties sit up and take note of this, it's somewhere I think people will once again rally around. Of course, people were beaten up very badly, and you know how the whole gathering at Marina got dispersed.
Right.
But still, I think behind the scenes there is this simmering discontentment and disillusionment among the people of Tamil Nadu, and which I think is now more and more finding expression in the social media.
Okay, Mr. Sarvanan, what Nagashila is pointing to, these are pertinent points. Looks like we have lost that connection with Mr. Sarvanan. We will try and reconnect to him, as well as, of course, to AI-ADMK voices as well. But these two images, they speak volumes, the ones that we are playing out on your television screens. Just look at the kind of ugly chaos in ruckus inside the assembly during a flow test that played out, showing all our netas, the politicians who are supposed to rule the state, who are supposed to govern the state, in such ugly light. And on the other hand, in those last 3 days, 2 gory incidents of toddlers who were abducted and then their bodies found dumped, that has surfaced, in Ennore and other parts of Tamil Nadu. Horrific incidents there. But Akshaya, in terms of the police investigation now, how are they planning to proceed about it? Which are the areas that they are possibly trying to sweep in and carry out raids?
Well, Smita, the police investigation is already on. We're seeing that they've already got leads on who are the ones responsible for it. So in the first case, they've already arrested a person, they've detained him, and they've started inquiry and investigation on how the entire incident panned out, because it was a 7-year-old child, and the neighbor was the one who was found guilty of what happened to her. And in the second case, the body of the child was found, and based on the complaint, the investigation started, and then they realized that yet again in this case also one of the neighbors, a lady, was involved in taking away the jewelry of the child, and later the other culprits are being inquired, and the investigation is still going on. Right now the police officials are saying that strict action will be taken against these incidences, and the culprits once found will not be free at all. They'll do the maximum to ensure that similar situations don't arise in Chennai. Chennai is generally known for the kind of peacefulness, and it is a very safe city compared to the other metros in the country. But of late we have been reporting about various instances, various cases of women and children abuse, and that is kind of shocking. And now the law and order officials, the police, the high officials are saying that they will ensure that the peace will be brought back. The image of a safe Chennai, a safe city, will be brought back, and they will be taking all the initiatives for that, Smita.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you joining us, Akshaya Nath, as well as Nagashila, the women's rights activist, A. Sarvanan, and the AI-ADMK person as well, for joining us on the broadcast. But clearly, the netas need to get their act together. For too long now, the state has been in a state of flux and agitation, and its governance issues that definitely seems to be taking a hit. But that has to be made the priority to make it a safer place for citizens, for young toddlers and children.